What an absolute and utter disgrace of a performance away in the Champions League. Porto defeat Arsenal 1-0, and I am absolutely furious. Absolutely disgusted and appalled by that disgusting performance from the Arsenal tonight. I want to start. Mikel Arteta, bro, you have to figure this out. Mikel Arteta, you have hung your hat. You've hung your hat on Kai Havertz and Jorginho and this experience that they have in the Champions League. Kai Havertz didn't do anything today. Kai Havertz, you are a fraud, sir. You didn't do anything today. The only time I've ever seen him have a good game in a Chelsea shirt was in the Champions League. He was terrible today. Offered nothing. Offered completely nothing. Why do we not get up? Why are we afraid of going away in the Champions League? It happened at Lens. It happened in the Europa League at Sporting Lisbon. We hardly even showed up to that game. What is going on? This excuse that the pressure's on, that there's so much pressure, there's too much pressure, that we buckle under pressure, is disgusting. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Arteta not being able to get the team up for high pressure situations. What are we doing? We want to be in these positions. We want to be playing in the highest competitions versus the toughest teams. This is not even the toughest teams. How are we going to go away to Porto and put that performance in? Meanwhile, half the Arsenal fan base is discussing all week long if we're going to win the Champions League. Put that in at the Bernabeu, you get smoked. Smoked. We'll even lose to Bayern, as crap as they are this season, playing like that at the Bernabeu. Literally 90 seconds in, Declan Rice is looking the other way, and Gabriel passes him the ball. And so Declan Rice has to make a late challenge and takes a yellow 1 minute and 22 seconds into the game. It didn't get better from there. We were sloppy. We were all over the place with our passes. The touches from so many different people. So many different players having ridiculously poor touches. The concentration wasn't there. We were 100% cowed by the noise, by the occasion, by the moment, by the pressure. And Arteta, it's on you. You have to figure out a way to get these men, to get these young men, these boys really, able to deal with this kind of pressure. Because it's not going to get easier. And, not for nothing, Mikel Arteta, whom I am a huge fan of, by the way. You've bottled top 4 2 years ago. You bottled the league last season because we couldn't handle pressure. Couldn't handle pressure away at Anfield. Couldn't handle pressure away at West Ham last season. Couldn't handle the pressure home to Southampton last season. What is going on? You can't play like that in the Champions League. You cannot bring that kind of a performance in the Champions League. Gabriel misplacing passes, letting things go, looking the other way when the ball comes to him and then letting it roll under your leg. Jorginho comes on, misplaces 3 or 4 passes. Kai Havertz, ghost, non-existent. Didn't do a single thing for us today. Martinelli was poor, was very poor. How many times did he take on his man? Not very many. Not very many. Saka, dude, in the Champions League, these are the moments where you need to follow through and step up and be the man. Be the man to carry the team. We have no one in these difficult moments who wants to step up, and it's a crime. It's a shame. It's an absolute crying shame that no one wants to step up and control that game. Settle the team down. I'm looking at you, Martin Odegaard. You've got the armband. You are the captain. Once again, why do you think people always give the criticism that Odegaard ghosts in big games? Because when we need somebody to settle the team down, when we need somebody to help us out in this high pressure situation, when the crowd is against you, when we need someone, we have nobody because Odegaard goes missing. I think Arteta needs to take a long look in the mirror, and I think Martin Odegaard needs to ask himself why he goes missing in big-time games. Poor touches, bad passes, lack of movement. Why was it so difficult to progress the ball today? Why did we not play the ball through the lines enough? We didn't have enough risky passes because we were nervous. We were scared. Scared to play our game. Scared to make the incisive passing through the lines that every time we did, the handful of times we did, we looked dangerous. It's just not good enough to be relying on set pieces in the Champions League to win the match. Especially when you're going to do the same one over and over and over and over and over and over again. Where was the variation we saw at West Ham? Try something different. It's clearly not working. It's clearly not working. And I think the stop-start nature of this game was another thing that really messed us up. And also, we let them and their BS get into our head, get and disrupt our game. Now, Porto are a disgrace. They're not a football team. They're a diving team. They're a swim team. They came today in their own stadium to swim through the grass. That's what they came to do. Literally every time they felt contact, they went down. Why do you think people are always accusing Portuguese players of diving? Because that's all they did today. That's literally all Porto did today. Every time they felt a hand in the back, woo, let's fall to the ground. And guess what? They got the ref every time. They got the ref to call that every single time. The referee was an absolute and utter disgrace. He was conned at least 10 times. Literally every time they fell down, the referee called a foul. Literally every time they fell down, the referee called a foul. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And I watch Premier League week in and week out, and that is the worst officiating I've seen in a long time. But that's no excuse. That's no excuse for how atrocious Arsenal were today. Okay, sure, our press worked. Our press worked for the most part. We made them play long balls. That's what we like to do. We like to let the keeper have the ball and play long balls. Oh, great. Well done. Did we win a second ball today? Nope. Did we attempt to win a second ball today? Not very many. We hardly battled in that midfield for the second balls. Where was the rhythm? We didn't have the ball we didn't have concerted, continuous, consistent possession like we're used to for any point in the game because we didn't win the second ball. We didn't bother to win the second balls. Half the time we didn't bother to challenge for the first one. Shocking performance. An absolute shocking performance from the Arsenal day. Off the back of 5 excellent performances. Excellent performances. Was there not just as much pressure to beat Liverpool at home? We've played against teams that do nothing but dive and kick and try to con the referee. We've played against teams like that before. Why did we let this time cow us? Why did we let this time get into our heads? Just because they paid off the ref and every time they fell down, they called a foul, that means you're going to be off your game? That means you're going to misplace passes? That means you're going to lose concentration and not have good touches? What are we doing? It's an awful performance today. Completely cowed by the pressure, by the moment. Couldn't handle the fact that, and another thing about Porto being such an amazing club. 2,000 fans? 2,000 away fans. Really. The commentator said there were 50,000 people at the stadium and only 2,000 away fans, 2,500 away fans. Is that a joke? Wow. Yeah, let's not stack the deck against every team who goes to that stadium at all. And then, of course, when you pay the ref off, I guess you're going to win anyway. I mean, every single time they've fallen down, the ref gives it a foul. It was the most frustrating thing ever. But Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, you guys need to bring the team together. You guys need to get the team past that. And right now, we don't have anyone to do that. Arteta surely can't do it. He's the one that's getting paid the big bucks to do that. And he is clearly not doing that. Today, this one is on Mikel Arteta. What were we supposed to do at halftime when we realized that their press was too strong against our midfielders? Realized that we weren't getting past their middle line? Switch it up. Try something different. Figure something out. Lay into them at halftime to get the effort out of them, to get the performance out of them. Because that is not good enough, not even close to good enough. And Arteta, once again, his track record in Europe is just awful. And this is why. Because our team gets absolutely awed by the occasion. There's been more pressure in other games in the Premier League this season. But because it's away and it's loud and the ref's against us, the other team is not even playing. They're diving around. They're getting in our heads. They're breaking up play. And that's no excuse. That's how it's going to be in the Champions League. That's how it's going to be if you want to be on top. If you want to be the best, you have to deal with crap like that. Terrible, 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 terrible performance tonight. Could not deal with it at all. Just not in... Yeah, not enough play through the lines, not enough getting the ball and turning and going at the defenders, not enough of Odegaard on the ball in behind that middle line. And Kai Havertz offered absolute nothing. Saka didn't pull us through. Martinelli didn't, Trossard hasn't had his best game. Poor all around, and I mean, at the end, right before we got scored on, I literally said when he gave the ball away, I said we've completely lost our head at the end of that game. Completely lost the plot at the end of that game, and Ben White just hoofs it upfield. Just rips it upfield. And the only sub Arteta made in the whole game was to bring on Jorginho. The guy who's supposed to have the coolest head, the most experienced Champions League winner in the side, comes in, misplaces 2 passes, and is awful, and just adds to how bad we were. This one's on Arteta. This one's on you, Mikel Arteta. You've hung your hat on Kai Havertz. You've hung your hat on Kai Havertz. And today, he's let you down in a huge way. Everyone has let you down in a huge way, and you've let them down. Mikel Arteta down today. It's got to be better. We have to figure out a way to deal with the pressure and put it aside. You guys are professionals. This is what you get paid to do. Ridiculous amounts of money. You have to figure this out. You have to figure out how to deal with the pressure. Mikel Arteta, you most of all. It's your job to figure out how to get them to deal with it. And so far, you've not done that even once in your career. Not even once. I'm furious, guys. I'm absolutely furious. Get the likes up. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. You'll see me next time. I'm out of here.